Hi, I'm Heinbach, and this rather noisy little thing here is the Hohner Multimonica II. The Hohner Multimonica from around 1952 is one of the strangest, yet one of the most exciting instruments I have encountered yet. It combines two things I love in a beautiful black bakelite case: a polyphonic acoustic fan organ and a limited yet rather lyrical monophonic analog vacuum tube synthesizer. It was an oddity when it was released, and it's just as odd now. This particular multimonica belonged to the late German musician Michael Renzel. Felix Schröer, whom you see in the studio here with me, took care of the estate sale and fixed it up to be in fantastic shape. Playing this instrument is a bit more complicated than it looks because it's two different instruments controlled in a rather unique way. You step into it like you would into a cockpit, because you've got two levers down here. The left lever controls the level of the fan organ. And the right, the level of the synthesizer part. It's pretty easy to control the volume with one, but when you have to control two, it gets kinda odd. I mean, so moving both legs at the same time in opposite directions, I can handle. Same as like moving one and holding the other. But doing different movements, that gets almost into dancing. Woof. Oh, good enough. This was take 8 or something, because it's really an unusual thing, for me at least, to move one leg and keep the other still, let alone like trying to make other movements with this. I think that is something I will have to learn. But bear with me, I've only had this instrument basically for a day. And the biggest struggle I had was actually finding a miking position for this. We've got the synthesizer part with the speaker directed upwards, and we've got the fan organ, which kind of radiates all around, but the brightness comes mostly from down here. And that's hard to capture because pointing mics like this is a bit unwieldy. It also means you're going to pick up a lot of key noises. If you go too far up top, you're catching only the loudspeaker. And also it's hard to judge how what you're playing will translate, because actually the perfect spot that I found after quite a long time of trying out different miking positions is right where you're sitting. So that's why this Neumann U87 is right next to my forehead. As there's also a bit of stereo involved, because that's just how the reeds are lined up, a stereo microphone position might even be better. But I'm running out of microphone inputs on my mixing board. But this also has an audio out. According to Felix, this is supposed to drive speakers. So if I want to use this, the synthesizer part, direct, I'm gonna need to plug in the iBox. This is the line out of the synthesizer part. It doesn't mute the internal speaker. It does have a nice bite to it, and it's absolutely noise-free, which is pretty rare for an instrument this old. I mean, 1952. So I'm impressed by that. Let's just add a touch of effects to the line out and see how that sounds. That was cool and opens up a bunch of new possibilities, even though there's no bypass to the main speaker, because this was just meant to drive another speaker. But really, I prefer the mic'd sound of the whole thing. It is more unique because it's easy for me to get any kind of synthesizer patches done on all of these other instruments. But let's have a look at how this actually works. The interface is all in German. Aus und ein, A und E, and Hauptschalter, power switch. I love the beautiful orange light here. Now, if you want to hear the fan organ, you have to turn it on here. And like on an accordion, you've got different sound settings. So this is the full sound setting. Next setting. This one is nice and mellow. Final setting. Very bright. The full setting is doubled 3 times for whatever reason. Maybe so you have it easily accessible when you're playing here,
everywhere. So I don't know if that's an accordion thing or not. For now, let's turn off the Gebläse, the fan, and let's look at the synthesizer part. Now, this is, yeah, what I would call a proto-synthesizer. So you've got a vacuum tube, oscillator, and you've got some formant filters, and then some vibrato features. This is very much like all the clavioline you'll find out there. If they're like this, none of them is active. You can tune it a little bit here. Not a lot. Just enough to match it to the accordion part. These are the 6 filters. Through a different combination of these, you're supposed to get different instruments. On this instrument, it feels a little bit less varied than on other ones that I have, like the Electro-Acoustic Pi. But still, you can do some interesting stuff. Ooh, that's a nice setting. You can hear how voice-like some of these sounds become because it is a formant filter. These settings here look like the reed settings down here. And when I press them, get a darker tone with more bass. Oh, that's nice. There's a legato mode, which is basically a very simple envelope on the attack. It doesn't bind the notes really, it just makes the attack softer. Then we've got the typical 1, 2, 3 kinds of vibrato. And that's all there is. Rather simple, yet together I find it's more than the sum of its parts. Now the fan noise is pretty strong, and I wonder if I can employ the same trick I use with my harmona over there to make it less so while still getting a good signal. I want to use a variac, meaning I'm gonna underpower it. I've got a whole video on that you can watch somewhere here if I point my finger right. I need to unplug this, put it in here, and then I'm gonna slowly up the voltage. It's very different than on a pure fan organ because there you're basically just controlling a fan. Here we've got electronics involved and these parts are together. Potentially you could mod it so they break out, but right now I want to keep this as it is with no mods because it's just pretty and beautiful. Let's see. Okay, so I need the power. All right, good. Let's Gebläse is on. So everything is switched on. I'm slowly gonna start giving it power. Oh, that's so quiet now. At just 84 volts, we can hear this. Maybe a minute less. There's not enough air to move all of the notes to give them all sound, but it sounds lovely. While we're at favorite tricks, let's get some cards. I got some coasters from Florian, aka Bad Gear, and I use these with my organs. So this enables me to have like a drone tone set so I can play more. Okay, that worked quite a bit. So the combination of this allows you to play this a bit more quiet, yet still have tone. Though I have to say, it's also nice to give this full power and then, yeah, just keep blasting it. There's quite some confusion as to who actually created the Multimonica. People evoke even Harald Bode, one of the most important synthesizer designers of the last century, who later worked with Moog, also greatly influenced. I've reached out to the Harald Bode archive at ZKM in Karlsruhe for feedback. They haven't replied to me yet as of making of this video, but If I get anything, I'll put it down in the comments. It seems that the Multimonica II was licensed by Hohner from the Multimonica I, which was designed by Siegfried Mager and was produced by the Straube company. Hence, it was originally called the Mager-Straube Kleinorgel. Sebastian Mager himself comes from an illustrious family. Jörg Mager famously styled himself as the father of German electronic music, and he built all kinds of wondrous apparatus and instruments in the pre-war years. Sadly, none of them survived. So as much as I want to go into his life, there is no real instrument that I could play, as far as I know. If you've got any pointers, do let me know. According to circuits I've seen, the original Multimonica had a radio input, so you could play along to the radio, and the vibrato was electromechanical, like on the Nova chord. This has been replaced by a vacuum tube circuit in here. There also appear to have been a Multimonica III, though what that was about, I have no idea. I've never seen that in real life. I've seen some Multimonicas in various states of disrepair. But according to Felix, at least the Multimonica II should be fixable by anyone who knows how to repair a vintage tube radio. That makes me rather happy, because the one day I spent together with you on this instrument already made me fall deeply in love with it. I have instruments that do things better than this combination. The East German Harmonia fan organ is much easier to mic and can be played more quietly. And the Hohner Electroniums, from the accordion version to the P, are better at creating synthetic sounds. But there is something special about the combination of these two parts. They are just very well tuned to each other, and sitting here just feels like you're immersed in sound. And that's why it's also so hard to microphone. I just hope it translates a bit to what I'm hearing here. You find music and a sample pack of this instrument on my Patreon, and your support there is what keeps this channel going. Without it, I couldn't do it. If you have any more information or questions about this instrument, drop them in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.